Well, it happened. After a month of speculation and rumors following Fox McCloud's appearance in the Super Mario Galaxy movie, Nintendo unveiled a brand new Star Fox game for the Switch 2. Wait, did I say a brand new Star Fox game? Let me correct myself. It's a remake of Star Fox 64 with overhauled visuals and a bigger focus on the characters and story with full-blown cutscenes. The mixed reactions of this game are quite interesting, as while there's a lot of people who are looking forward to playing this game, there's a few aspects of the game that people are either disappointed with or just completely baffled by. However, a week has gone by, and after watching the direct multiple times, as well as looking into the reactions from a lot of different people from many social media platforms, I have garnered a better understanding and speculation into why Nintendo went in this direction. And honestly, it's a smart move, all things considered. But before I explain why, let's take a look at what this remake offers. The gameplay is just what you expect for longtime fans of the series, with its on-rail aerial combat, albeit with some control over your craft's movement to boost, brake, and do the franchise's iconic barrel rolls, as well as sections in the Landmaster ground tank and Blue Marine submarine. The layout of each stage is the same as it was in Star Fox 64, as well as attaining the branching level system, where the path you take from stage to stage changes depending on certain conditions that are met while playing each stage, which expands upon the game's replayability. The game also adds the ability to use mouse controls with the Joy-Con 2 controllers and 2-player co-op, where one person controls the R-Wing's movement while the second player controls the R-Wing's gun with mouse controls. Since this is a remake of Star Fox 64, Nintendo has also added the ability to play the game with the NSO exclusive N64 controller for players who are looking to play with a more retro feel. While the campaign story of the game is also the same, Nintendo has added some fresh new cutscenes, adding new story elements between characters, and expanding upon the game's narrative. A big example of this expanded narrative is the new prologue that was shown at the end of the presentation, which shows the events of what happened to Fox's father, James McCloud. The campaign also adds the ability to play in either easy or normal difficulty at the start, which is great for newcomers coming into the series, with the expert difficulty being unlocked after gaining all the medals. The game also has a challenge mode where you're able to replay missions from the game and clear their own objectives and challenges in either normal or expert difficulty. But a big new mode is the game's online multiplayer battle mode, where up to 8 players can compete in 4 vs 4 dogfights divided into Team Star Fox and Team Star Wolf that features 3 battle stages, each with different objectives, such as securing control of a designated zone in Corneria, collecting energy crystals on Ficina, or retrieving cargo from space pirates in Sector Y. The game is also compatible with the Switch 2's Game Share feature with up to 4 players, either locally with those who either have a Switch 1 or Switch 2, and online with other Switch 2 players through Game Chat. Speaking of Game Chat and being a first for Switch 2, Star Fox will also let players choose avatars to embody Star Fox characters in Game Chat through a selection of AR filters, meaning that you too can become a Star Fox VTuber. And what a great segue into talking about one of the aspects that has really divided people, the overhauled visuals. All of the characters in this remake received redesigns which look a lot more animalistic than ever. And I may be in the small minority who thinks this, but I don't think they're as bad as everyone is putting them out to be. I can see where they're kind of going with when it comes to its animalistic design. It feels like they took a lot of inspiration from their original puppet design that they had for promotions when the SNES original came out back in '93. Even the box art for the game resembles the first game's box art, which is a great nod to the series' roots. It's clear that Fox's redesign in the Mario Galaxy movie beats out the redesign in this remake by a lot. The proportions of some parts of their body definitely makes these characters a bit off, especially if you look at their eyes and legs. They look a bit small compared to their regular models. If anything, the original Star Fox designer Takaya Imamura said it best when he recently went on X to say that its direction was clear and well defined. In a later post, he said, "The new work is exactly the visuals I had in my head back when I was making Star Fox 64. I absolutely love the super realistic character expressions too." But that doesn't mean that everyone will agree with the new redesigns though. It's a shame that way too many people made such a bigger reaction on the redesigned characters in particular, because outside of that, the rest of the game's overhauled visuals look really great. When actual gameplay was shown in the presentation, it looks like it's running at a stable 60 frames per second in 4K resolution. The realistic style that they're going for really stands out, and from what they've shown so far, it definitely looks like to be a shining example of showcasing the Switch 2's raw technical horsepower, which is definitely what we want to see as we're now closing out the Switch 2's first year in the market, with some challenges on the way for its second year. But funny how we're in this era where a couple of Nintendo characters have received redesigns lately. The Mario franchise has seen it with Mario Wonder and Mario Kart World. Donkey Kong got a big one that's more inspired around his pre-rare design, and now we're seeing it with Star Fox. Just like those, it'll take some time to get used to it when the game comes out, but for right now, a lot of people have definitely grown to like the design a week later. Now let's talk about another thing that a lot of Star Fox fans are upset about. The fact that they're retreading Star Fox 64 again. I'm not too familiar with the Star Fox franchise. The only game I played was Zero on Wii U, and oh boy, what a great way for me to get introduced to the franchise. But I did do some digging into the history of the franchise, as well as seeing many different perspectives. And what I came across is that while this is the 5th game where the same story has been retold, this is the only time that Star Fox 64 got an actual remake. You may be surprised by this, but contrary to what everyone is saying online, Star Fox 64 3D on the 3DS is considered to be an enhanced port or a remaster, not a remake. Star Fox 64 on Wii U, while it does tell the same story as 64, it's actually considered to be a reimagining, as the way the story is told and the gameplay itself is way different, and worse at the same time. Let's also not forget that Star Fox 64 is practically a remake of the original SNES Star Fox. If this has taught me anything, is that Star Fox is the one video game franchise that receives way too many reboots, which makes for one complicated gaming franchise. But back to the topic in hand. Many Star Fox fans are tired of seeing Nintendo not letting go of Star Fox 64, which brings the question, why are they doing it? For right now, we can only speculate until Nintendo themselves answers this question. But a lot of people are coming to the same assumption that a modern remake of Star Fox 64 will be a strong entry point for newcomers coming into the Star Fox franchise, which is why I firmly believe that Nintendo is making a smart move here. Star Fox is one of Nintendo's many different franchises that has been stagnant. The last Star Fox game we got was Star Fox Zero 10 years ago, which is definitely one of the franchise's low points. And no, I'm not counting Starlink Battle for Atlas, that was more of a crossover appearance more than anything. A lot has happened since then, and chances are that today's generation would only know of Fox McCloud either as a character in Smash Bros. Or nowadays from the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which was only made possible because Illumination wanted to see Fox in the movie, which intrigued Shigeru Miyamoto to include him, which is more than likely the reason why they decided to try and reboot the franchise again. And what better place for newcomers to get introduced to Star Fox properly than with a modern remake of what's considered to be the series' best entry, which is also the best-selling game in the franchise. Depending on how well this remake does, we may get actual new Star Fox games later down the line, similar to how we saw a couple of Nintendo's stagnant franchises get revived in the Switch era. Remember when Nintendo had a Mario RPG renaissance when they remade Super Mario RPG and Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, which would eventually lead them to have a new entry in the Mario Luigi RPG series with Brothership, all within 1 year. Or how about in 2021, when Nintendo released remakes of the first 2 games in the Famicom Detective Club series on the Switch 1, which led to a new entry with Emio the Smiling Man 3 years later. But the best example was how the 3DS remake of Metroid 2 called Metroid Samus Returns back in 2017 led to Nintendo working with the same developer Mercury Steam in bringing Metroid Dread back from the dead in 2021, which continued the 2D Metroid series where it last left off with Fusion back in 2002. And it became the best-selling game in the franchise. There's potential for Star Fox to do the same here, because unlike their last few attempts to reboot the franchise, Nintendo's install base has grown tremendously. The Switch 2 has sold just shy of 20 million units as of the end of March, and mind you, the system will be 1 month in its second year in its lifespan when Star Fox comes out. Let's also not forget the big appearance in the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which introduced the character and franchise to a brand new generation of people who may not even have heard of Star Fox until now. Let me be clear, This game probably won't sell high compared to games like a new Mario or Zelda entry, since it is a niche franchise after all. But after the Super Mario Galaxy movie's success in introducing him, it gives a lot of hope for Star Fox to have a bright future going forward. And it all depends on how this remake does when it comes out on June 25th. Not to mention that the game itself is $50 digitally and $60 physically, which is another sigh of relief for many of us. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I hope to see you all in the next video.